Somalia and Eritrea. Two beautiful countries located on the Horn of Africa. Though these two countries have a lot of similarities, they have quite a few differences. So in this video, we will put both countries against each other to see which one comes on top. For starters, Somalia is larger than Eritrea both in size and population. Somalia has a surface area of about 637,657 square kilometers and a population of about 17 million people, while Eritrea has a surface area of 117,600 square kilometers and a population of about 3.6 million people. Though Eritrea has a smaller surface area and population, it has a higher population density of 30.8 people per square kilometers, while Somalia has a population density of 28.5 people per square kilometers. Eritrea and Somalia are both located in the Horn of Africa and share many similarities in climate. The climate of both countries is generally hot and dry, with temperatures varying according to altitude. The coastal areas are usually hot and humid, with average temperatures ranging from around 30 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius during the day. Inland areas at higher elevations have milder temperatures, with average temperatures ranging from around 15 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius during the day. The country experiences two distinct seasons, a dry season from November to March and a wet season from April to October, with the heaviest rainfall occurring from July to September. Similarly, the climate of Somalia is also hot and dry, with temperatures varying according to altitude and proximity to the coast. Coastal areas are typically hot and humid, with average temperatures ranging from around 30 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius during the day. Inland areas at higher elevations have milder temperatures, with average temperatures ranging from around 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius during the day. Somalia also experiences two distinct seasons, a dry season from December to March and a wet season from April to June, with the heaviest rainfall occurring in May. Both Eritrea and Somalia are prone to occasional droughts and desertification due to their arid climate and low rainfall. Additionally, both countries are located in a region that is susceptible to climate variability and extreme weather events such as floods, cyclones, and storms. When it comes to economy, both countries are some of the poorest countries on the continent with one of the lowest GDP per capita. Eritrea has a relatively small economy than Somalia's with a GDP of approximately $2.5 billion and a GDP per capita of $626 in 2022. According to the World Bank, the country's economy is largely dependent on agriculture, mining, and the services sector. Agriculture is the largest employer in Eritrea, employing around 80% of the population. The country's main crops include sorghum, millet, wheat, and barley, as well as fruits and vegetables. Eritrea has significant mineral resources, including copper, gold, and potash, but the extraction of these resources has been limited due to a lack of investment and infrastructure. The government has implemented policies to encourage foreign investment, but Eritrea still faces challenges in attracting investors due to its restrictive political climate. Eritrea's economy has been heavily impacted by decades of conflict and political isolation. Eritrea has also faced international sanctions due to its human rights record and alleged support for terrorist groups. These factors have made it difficult for Eritrea to attract foreign investment and develop its economy. Somalia, on the other hand, has a larger economy with a GDP of approximately $7.6 billion and a GDP per capita of $544 in 2022, according to the World Bank. However, the country has been plagued by conflict and political instability for decades, which has severely hindered economic growth and development. Agriculture and livestock are the largest sectors in Somalia, accounting for around 75% of GDP and employing around 65% of the population. The country's main crops include bananas, maize, and sorghum, as well as livestock such as cattle, sheep, and goats. Somalia also has some natural resources, including oil and gas, but the development of these resources has been limited due to the country's security situation and lack of investment. Somalia's economy has also been impacted by decades of conflict and political instability, but the country has made some progress in recent years. The federal government was established in 2012, and since then, the government has implemented a number of economic reforms to attract foreign investment and improve the business environment. Somalia has also received debt relief from international creditors, which has helped to improve its economic outlook. Overall, both countries are still very weak economies and are still struggling. While Somalia has a larger GDP than Eritrea, Eritrea has a larger GDP per capita than Somalia. With regards to infrastructures, both countries have faced significant challenges in developing its infrastructure due to decades of conflict and political isolation. The transportation infrastructure in Eritrea is limited, with the country having a small road network, and many of its roads are in poor condition. However, there have been some efforts by the government to invest in road infrastructure in recent years, including the construction of new roads and bridges. The country also has a limited rail network with a single line connecting Massawa to Asmara. The port of Massawa is Eritrea's main seaport, but it has limited capacity and is in need of modernization. The government has made efforts to attract foreign investment in the port sector to improve its capacity and efficiency. Access to electricity is limited in Eritrea, with only around 22% of the population having access to electricity in 2020. The government has implemented policies to encourage investment in the energy sector, including renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. The telecommunications infrastructure in Eritrea is limited, with low internet penetration rates. However, the government has recently made efforts to improve access to telecommunications services, including by partnering with foreign companies to expand mobile phone coverage. Access to clean water and sanitation is limited in Eritrea, particularly in rural areas. The government has made efforts to improve access to clean water and sanitation through the construction of new water supply systems and sanitation facilities. Somalia, on the other hand, has similar infrastructures to Eritrea. The transportation infrastructure in Somalia is limited, with many of its roads in poor condition. However, there have been some efforts by the government to invest in road infrastructure in recent years, including the construction of new roads. The country also has a limited rail network with a single line connecting Mogadishu to Afgoy. The port of Mogadishu is Somalia's main seaport, and it has undergone renovations in recent years to improve its capacity and efficiency. The government has also made efforts to attract foreign investment in the port sector. Access to electricity is limited in Somalia, with only around 15% of the population having access to electricity in 2020. The government has implemented policies to encourage investment in the energy sector, including renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. The telecommunications infrastructure in Somalia has seen significant growth in recent years, with mobile phone coverage expanding rapidly. The government has also made efforts to improve access to internet services, although internet penetration rates remain relatively low. Overall, while Somalia's infrastructure is still relatively underdeveloped compared to many other countries, the government has made some efforts to invest in infrastructure development in recent years. However, the country still faces significant challenges in attracting foreign investment and improving the quality of its infrastructure due to its political climate and history of conflict. When it comes down to standard of living, both Eritrea and Somalia are among the poorest and least developed countries in the world, and their citizens face significant challenges in terms of access to basic services, including healthcare, education, and clean water. According to the Human Development Index, HDI, which is a measure of human development that takes into account life expectancy, education, and income per capita, Eritrea was ranked 182 out of 189 countries in 2020, while Somalia was ranked 189 out of 189 countries. This suggests that Eritrea has a slightly higher standard of living than Somalia. Although both countries had a long way to go in terms of improving the well-being of their citizens, both Eritrea and Somalia have faced significant challenges in terms of political instability, conflict, and economic isolation, which have hindered their development and contributed to their low levels of human development. However, both countries have made some progress in recent years in terms of implementing economic and social reforms, and there is potential for further progress with increased investment and political stability. In summary, while Eritrea may have a slightly higher standard of living than Somalia, according to the Human Development Index, both countries face significant challenges in terms of improving the well-being of their citizens, and there is a need for sustained investment and development to address these challenges. In terms of peace and stability, Eritrea has experienced some improvements in recent years, particularly in its relations with neighboring Ethiopia. In 2018, Eritrea and Ethiopia signed a peace agreement that ended decades of conflict and tension between the two countries. This agreement has led to the reopening of border crossings and the resumption of diplomatic relations, which has contributed to a more stable security situation in the region. Somalia, on the other hand, continues to face significant security challenges, including ongoing conflict with the Al-Shabaab militant group and other armed factions. The government has made efforts to improve security, including through the development of a national army and police force, but progress has been slow due to ongoing violence and political instability. While both Eritrea and Somalia have experienced significant levels of conflict and instability, Eritrea has seen some improvements in recent years, particularly in its relations with Ethiopia, while Somalia continues to face significant security challenges. To conclude, both Eritrea and Somalia still have a long way to in terms of economy, standard of living, infrastructures, and peace. However, Eritrea is relatively doing well than Somalia since it has better infrastructures, better standard of living, and more peaceful than Somalia. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos.